She slid for crumpled $50 notes and one faded 50 across the counter for a cottage that could have been plucked from Narnia, not the misty hills of rural Oregon. But what she unearthed, sunk 25 feet beneath its ivy-draped base, would rattle an entire county and reveal that sometimes children's tales cloak the ugliest truths. Before we plunge in, hit that subscribe button. Tomorrow's tale is a mind-bender you won't want to miss. That morning, Sarah eased into the drop-off lane at Pinecrest Primary. Her 2006 Toyota Corolla wheezed once and quit. She lingered, knuckles white on the wheel, while gleaming pickups worth more than her last 3 paychecks glided past. In the back, Lily fidgeted, oblivious that $62 had to stretch until payday. "Mom, are we late again?" Lily asked, tugging at the straps of a backpack Sarah had mended 3 times with silver duct tape she'd colored purple with marker. "No, sweetheart." Perfect timing. Sarah painted on a grin, unbuckled her, and watched Lily sprint for the doors, thrift store sneakers smacking the asphalt. The car could wait. Everything waited. It always did. 3 hours later, Sarah hunched over a wobbly thrift store cafe table, her kitchen, swiping through property apps on a cracked phone. Not to buy, dreaming cost nothing. She sorted by price, low to high, braced for the usual wrecks and weed lots. Then it appeared, wedged between a gutted silo and a boggy parcel, whimsical burrow-style retreat, $150 cash only. She tapped the listing, sure it was a glitch. One grainy picture, a round turquoise door set into a grassy mound, brass knob gleaming, porthole window clouded with decades of neglect. Description: for acre forested parcel. Unique subterranean residence. No inspections. Cash, serious buyers only. Sarah stared. $150. She had it, barely, after scraping the couch cushions. The landlord had taped a peach-colored eviction notice to the door at dawn. 7 days to pay or pack. 7 days until she and Lily slept in the Corolla, if the thing would start. She dialed, pulse drumming. It rang once, twice. "Yeah?" The voice sounded like gravel soaked in whiskey. The borough listing. $150. A bark that might have been laughter. "You for real?" "Dead serious." No power, no plumbing, no heat. Vacant 25 years. Sarah glanced at the dark apartment. The lights had died twice this winter, the shower ran cold more often than hot. "Fine by me." Pause. "When you coming?" "Now." The seller, who finally muttered his name was Clarence, rattled off landmarks 40 minutes west of Salem. No address, just past the rusted McAllister barn, right at the fire-scarred cedar, follow the rutted track till it quits. Sarah signed Lily out early, citing a dentist visit. The office clerk offered the familiar cocktail of sympathy and side-eye. Sarah was immune. "Where to, Mom?" Lily asked as the Corolla coughed northward. "An adventure. Like the books." "Really?" "Really." The track materialized exactly where Clarence said, swallowed by ferns and alder. The Toyota groaned over every stone, but Sarah coaxed it onward. Branches knitted overhead, sunlight strobing the dash. Then the mound rose from the earth. Lily squeaked. "Mom, it's a wizard door." Set flush into the hillside stood the round turquoise door, brass hinges dulled by weather. The porthole stared like a sleepy eye. Ivy cascaded over the roofline, forget-me-nots and foxglove rioted at the threshold. It belonged in a bedtime story, not Oregon backcountry. Clarence leaned against the doorframe, 70-something, wary eyes flicking from pocket to keyring to the frayed bill of his faded Kubota cap. "You brought the kid." Clarence squinted at Lily, who hid half behind Sarah's leg. "Lily, say hello to Mr. Clarence." Lily gave a tiny wave, eyes still glued to the turquoise door. Clarence snorted. "Let's make this quick." He fished a tarnished brass key from his pocket, the twin of the hinges, and worked it into the lock. Metal shrieked, then surrendered. The door drifted inward without a sound. A breath of cool earth rolled out, laced with cedar and something faintly floral, like dried lavender left too long in a drawer. Clarence snapped on a headlamp and stepped inside. The entry opened into a round chamber, ceiling vaulted like the inside of a walnut shell. Older roots threaded the earthen walls in deliberate curves. Flagstones, polished by years of footfall, formed the floor. To the left, a low arch hinted at a galley kitchen. To the right, a tunnel swallowed the light. Built 1962, Clarence said, voice bouncing off the dome. Fella named Percival Thornwood. Eccentric as they come. Took for summers with a pick and shovel. Wanted to live like those little folk in the stories. Lily squeezed Sarah's fingers. It's enchanted, Mom. Sarah couldn't deny the tug in her chest. Dust motes drifted in the beam of Clarence's lamp, but the space felt sheltered. What happened to him? Sarah asked. Clarence shrugged. Vanished in '83. Walked off one morning, left the kettle on the stove. Title's been snarled in probate ever since. Court finally cut it loose last week. They moved deeper. The kitchen held a cast-iron stove recessed into the wall, its pipe vanishing into the hill. Shelves were scooped from the clay itself. A narrow corridor fed 2 round bedrooms, each no larger than a generous closet. The bathroom was a plank seat over a pit, reached by a short tunnel that exited behind the mound. Well out back, Clarence muttered. Hand pump. Might need a new leather. Sarah ran numbers in her head. No rent, no power bill, no water bill, only county tax on a $150 sale. They could breathe. Why the fire sale price? Clarence scratched the stubble under his cap. Tried offloading it 3 seasons. Too quirky, too far out, too much elbow grease. The $150 just covers the paperwork. Take it or leave it. Sarah glanced at Lily, nose pressed to the porthole, forest light striping her cheeks. We'll take it. Paperwork happened in the cab of Clarence's dented Ford. Sarah laid out 3 50s and 2 20s, her entire rainy day stash. Clarence recounted, then slid a thick envelope across the seat. Deed, plat map, tax card, spare key. All yours. He paused with one boot on the running board. Percival was always poking holes. Thought the hill hid something, mineral vein, Indian cave, who knows. Watch your step, you'll find shafts. Then the truck coughed to life and vanished in a plume of dust. Can we really stay here? Lily whispered. Sarah crouched. It'll be an adventure? No Netflix, no toaster. We'll boil water on the stove, read by lantern, like pioneers. Lily flung her arms around Sarah's neck. I love it. They spent the afternoon mapping corners. Sarah's list, bleach, oil lamps, canned beans, rope. Sunset bled crimson through the canopy as they perched on the hillside, the turquoise door glowing like a coin in the grass. Mom, Lily said, what if there are hidden doors? Sarah ruffled her hair. Then we'll open them. Move-in day was the following Friday. For runs in the Corolla hauled what little they owned. Sarah pawned the flat screen, the blender, the slow cooker, anything that needed a plug. Their worldly goods filled one curved room and spilled halfway into the second. Lily staked the smaller bedroom, her narrow mattress hugged the wall like it was custom built. Sarah took the larger chamber, though larger meant she could stretch both arms without touching clay. Both rooms were snug in the way only a space that truly belongs to you can feel. Their first night, they ate almond butter crackers by lantern light, cross-legged on folded blankets in the main chamber. Lily had tugged a dusty paperback from a clay shelf, * the Fellowship of the Ring *, fittingly, and Sarah read until Lily's eyelids drooped. I love our wizard house, Lily sighed as Sarah tucked the quilt around her. Me too, kiddo. Sleep dodged Sarah. Every creak was foreign, soil exhaling, wind threading invisible vents, the soft scratch of mice behind the walls. She lay on the mattress pad, tracing older routes across the ceiling like a map, wondering if she'd traded one kind of ruin for another. Then she pictured the peach eviction notice, the red utility tags, the nightly math of not enough. Here, at least, the roof was theirs. She drifted. She jolted awake to a cadence that didn't fit, not the hill settling, not claws on clay. A slow, tidal pushball, like lungs the size of a room. Sarah sat up. The sound rose from under the flagstones, wind, she told herself, funneled through some old shaft. Old places spoke in tongues, she'd learned the dialect. Morning brought chores. The pump coughed rust, then grudging clear water. Sarah boiled every drop. The stove took 8 matches but finally roared, chasing the damp. Lily turned labor into legend, kindling became dragon bones, buckets became treasure chests. They were explorers, she announced, charting the wild. Routine settled. Sarah waitressed at a truck stop cafe outside Salem, pocketing tips and day-old biscuits. Lily caught the yellow bus at the rutted turnout, 45 minutes each way, nose buried in library books. The breathing under the floor persisted, soft, patient, only after moonrise. Sarah hunted it with her ear to different stones, found nothing but echoes. Then Lily discovered the fissure. It was a Wednesday, Sarah was on the lunch rush. Lily was meant to be conjugating verbs, but curiosity won. She met Sarah at the door, vibrating. Mom, I found a secret. She dragged Sarah to her bedroom, to the seam where flagstone kissed clay. A hairline split glinted. Listen. Lily flattened herself, ear to the gap. Sarah knelt, half smiling. Then she heard it, a hush of moving air, steady as a tide. There's a whole room down there, Lily breathed. Sarah's rational voice catalogued, limestone country, swallow holes, nothing odd. But that night, after Lily slept, Sarah returned with the headlamp. She shone it into the slit, light vanished into velvet dark. She uncoiled a metal hanger, fed it through. 6 inches, 12, 24, no floor. Whatever lay beneath was hollow. Over the next days, more cracks appeared, spidery, deliberate, as if the hill were flexing. Sarah sealed them with tubes of bargain cork, telling herself it was upkeep. Lily, meanwhile, became a prospector. She tapped stones for hollow notes, sniffed corners for colder drafts, watched crumbs vanish between tiles like offerings to invisible gods. Maybe Mr. Percival buried gold, ***, Lily mused over supper one night. They were eating by lantern light again, con tomato soup and grilled cheese triangles toasted on the cast iron. Maybe, Sarah said, though her mind was on load-bearing beams, not pirate chests. That Saturday, Sarah went in with intent. She'd bought a short crowbar at a garage sale for $2 and picked the spot in the main chamber where 3 cracks converged. The flagstones there rocked under her boot. Are we hunting pirate loot? Lily asked, practically vibrating. We're inspecting the foundation, Sarah corrected, but her pulse betrayed her. She slid the bar under the first stone. It lifted like a loose tooth. Beneath, earth, but too neat, too tamped, like a baker's proof dough. 1 stone, 2, 4. Lily's small fingers darted in to help. On the 5th, the ground side and a square foot of floor caved inward with a soft wump star. Sarah's flashlight stabbed down. Stone steps, narrow and deliberate, spiraled into black. Mom, Lily whispered, voice thin with awe. Sarah's stomach flipped. Someone had quarried stairs beneath their living room and paved over them. Clarence's warning echoed. Percival was always poking holes. She should nail a board across and forget it. Secret cellars were for horror movies. But Lily's beam was already dancing down the steps, and the look on her face was the same one she'd worn the first time she saw the turquoise door. Tomorrow, Sarah said. Daylight, better gear. Lily groaned but obeyed. They weighted the hole with a plank and tried to sleep. Sarah dreamed of stairs that never ended. Dawn was drizzly. Lily was up at 5, backpack stuffed with paracord, sidewalk chalk, a spiral notebook, and 4 juice pouches. Sarah had raided the sporting goods bin, 2 headlamps, 50 feet of nylon rope, a compact first aid pouch, the crowbar. Part of her prayed for a mundane root cellar, the rest, the part that had paid $150 for a fairy tale house, craved wonder. They levered up more stones until the opening gaped like a missing tooth. The steps were hewn from basalt, edges rounded by decades of soles. Sarah knotted the rope around her waist, the other end cinched to the stove's iron leg. Anything feels off, we climb, she said. Lily saluted, headlamp haloing her curls like a coal mine sprite. They descended. 5 steps, 10. Dirt walls gave way to dressed stone, tool marks still crisp. Air flowed cool and dry, carrying a faint mineral tang. 15 steps, 20. Mom, look! Lily's light snagged on the wall, glyphs, not scratches. Geometric, deliberate, no alphabet Sarah knew. 25, 30. The stairs stopped at a planked door, oak, pale and unrotted, as if it had been planed yesterday. Iron strap hinges, a thumb latch worn bright. Sarah's hand hovered. Every rational cell screamed trap star. Underground rooms were for bodies, not bedtime stories. Lily reached around her and lifted the latch. The door side open on oiled silence. The chamber beyond was perfectly round, 20 feet across, domed like an upside-down bowl. But where the upstairs rooms were raw earth, this was finished, walls faced with pale stone, floor inlaid in a spiral of darker slate. A single object dominated the center, a low, circular plinth of the same pale stone, waist-high, its top carved into a shallow basin. And in the basin lay something that caught both headlamps and threw the light back in a slow, liquid shimmer. The walls were sheathed in brushed alloy, catching their headlamps and fracturing the beams into slow-moving constellations. Every panel bore etched glyphs, sharp, symmetrical, utterly foreign. In the room's heart stood a waist-high plinth of the same metal, its surface a mirror of symbols. Atop it rested a cube. Is it pirate gold? Lily breathed. Sarah circled, boots silent on the slate spiral. The cube was roughly 16 inches to a side, seamless, warm to the touch, body temperature, not feverish. She lifted it. Weight surprised her, it felt dense as mercury. Mom. Lily's voice had gone hushed. She was tracing a wall glyph with one finger, where skin met metal, the symbol kindled a faint teal glow, like foxfire under glass. Sarah's brain scrambled for chemistry, some phosphor, maybe, but her hands betrayed her, trembling as she turned the cube. No hinges, no latch. Just endless rows of those alien marks. We take it upstairs, she said. One mystery at a time. There was another door opposite, oak, identical, unrotted, but Lily was already nodding, eyes shining. Back in the lantern-lit main room, the cube looked almost ordinary, a rich man's paperweight. Maybe. Sarah set it on the cafe table. Lily plopped beside her, notebook open. Maybe Mr. Percival was a secret agent, Lily offered. Could be, Sarah said, tracing an edge. The metal warmed again. When her fingertip crossed a particular glyph, it lit, soft teal, same as below. She pressed harder, the whole row kindled. It's a puzzle. Lily crowed. Like the games on your phone. They worked in tandem. Lily charted sequences, Sarah tested. 40 minutes in, Lily tapped 3 symbols in rapid succession. A muted snick. A hairline seam appeared along one face. Sarah met her daughter's eyes. Ready? Lily nodded so hard her headlamp wobbled. Sarah eased the lid up. Inside, cradled in cloth that dissolved to dust. 1. A slim journal bound in dark calfskin, wrapped in waxed canvas. 2. A palm-sized instrument, brass and crystal, part compass, part pocket watch, needles twitching though no gears turned. 3. A parchment scroll sealed with green wax. Sarah lifted the journal. The flyleaf read, in a neat, hurried hand. The 14th of April, 1983. They call it lunacy in the Thornwood blood. Let them. Lunacy and revelation share a mask. After 23 years of shovels, whispers, and maps older than the county, I have breached the vestibule. Tomorrow I descend. If I do not return, let this stand, I was not mad. The wardens existed. Their charge endures. P.T. Sarah's pulse thudded in her ears. Lily had already snatched the brass device. The instant her fingers closed, crystal faces bloomed with slow, liquid light, not LEDs, something gentler. A low chord rose from the cube itself. And from far beneath the flagstones, through the open stairwell, came an answering note, deeper, older, patient. The barrow's clay walls thrummed like a cello string plucked by unseen fingers. Lily's eyes were saucers. Mom, I think we rang the doorbell. The cube pulsed in Sarah's grip, glyphs strobing in sync with the low, rising chord from the stairwell. Their $150 cottage wasn't abandoned, it was waiting. Percival Thornwood hadn't vanished. He'd arrived. And now the hill was answering. All night the note lingered, a subterranean heartbeat. Sarah lay rigid, journal pressed to her ribs. Lily had dragged her mattress in, burrowing close. By dawn the sound had softened to a lullaby, but the air felt pressurized, ozone before lightning. Sarah flipped pancakes with shaking wrists. Are we going back down? Lily asked, syrup on her chin like war paint. Sarah had read until the lantern guttered. Percival's early entries were engineer calm, soil samples, folktales of the wardens, star charts. Then the margins filled with frantic sigils and equations that made her eyes water. We need a plan, she said. But the brass crystal resonance keef on the table kept breathing light, and the hill's new voice had cadence now, invitation, not echo. While Lily was at school, Sarah descended alone. Lantern, crowbar, phone on video. The stairs greeted her like old friends. The lower chamber hadn't changed, except every glyph glowed, slow constellations drifting across alloy panels. The far door stood ajar, a blade of pale light leaking through. She lifted the latch. Beyond lay a hallway of mirror-polished basalt, edges razor-true. Light welled from the stone itself, sourceless and cool. The passage curved in a gentle helix, side tunnels yawning like organ pipes. Percival's journal warned of the maze, * 3 days to find daylight again *, so Sarah stuck to the main spiral. 50 paces. 100. The air grew lighter, as if the hill exhaled. Then the corridor spilled into a cavern so large the ceiling vanished into starless dark. Light floated everywhere, soft as moonlight on water. And every surface, floor, walls, freestanding monoliths, was shelved. Shelves upon shelves, receding into velvet shadow. Not books. Sarah stepped to the nearest rack. Devices. Thousands. Some mechanical, gears nested inside gears, spinning without friction. Others organic, translucent pods veined with slow pulses. She lifted a palm-sized orb of interlocking silver rings. At her touch it unfolded like a flower, rings orbiting faster, humming in harmony with the key in her pocket. The orb's ring slowed, then folded back into a sphere with a soft sigh. Sarah set it down like it might bite. A low dais near the entrance cradled a second journal, leather flaked like old bark, pages the color of weak tea. The script was alien, yet as she stared, the glyphs rearranged themselves into English, as if the book were translating in real time. The final repository of the wardens, she read aloud, voice cracking. Sealed against the long night. Let the finder prove worthy of the legacy. Her phone buzzed. 3 o'clock. Bus in 20. She sprinted the spiral corridor, slammed the plank over the stairwell, and was wiping sweat from her brow when the yellow bus coughed to a stop. Lily hopped off, backpack bouncing. You went without me, she said before the door even shut. Sarah knelt. I found a library. And questions big enough to swallow the world. After mac and cheese by lantern, they descended again, rules taped to the fridge, stay in sight. Hands off unless we both agree. Up at the first weird noise. Lily's excitement crackled like static. The archive hit her like a wave. She twirled, headlamp painting silver across impossible shelves. It's a treasure vault for star people, she whispered. Sarah wasn't arguing. The hill couldn't hold this space, physics said no, yet here it was. They moved aisle by aisle, humming crystals, dormant rods that made the hairs on Sarah's arms rise, fears that warmed when stared at too long. Lily found the handhelds. She lifted a brass and quartz monocle. Mom, it's a magic window. Through the lens, walls turned transparent. Corridors branched like roots, farther halls glittered with more shelves, and at the core, a light too bright to look at directly, pulsing, patient. The heart of the sanctuary, Sarah echoed Percival's phrase. Then, footsteps. Measured, human. A second voice, 2 voices, murmuring in a language that tasted like static. Sarah yanked Lily behind a monolith. The steps stopped. A man stepped into the light. Tall, gaunt, clothes stiff with 40-year-old fashion. Hair and beard a white waterfall. He moved like joints had forgotten their purpose. At the dais he traced the ancient journal with reverent fingers. I felt the key wake, he rasped, voice unused gravel. Took you long enough. He turned. Eyes the color of glacier melt pinned them instantly. No use crouching. Down here I see better than topside. Sarah's throat closed. Percival. A smile, equal parts grief and triumph. Percival Thornwood, at what's left of my service. How long have the seasons turned without me? 42 years. It's 2025. He closed his eyes, exhaled like a man surfacing from deep water. Long enough, then. Time forgets its own rules down here. Percival's voice echoed softly as they walked. You're the new deed holders, then? Of my little burrow? Lily peeked around Sarah's hip. We paid $150. He barked a laugh like dry leaves. $150. I handed over $9,000 in '62. Abandoned property depreciates fast when the owner steps sideways into myth. He moved with the ease of a man who'd memorized every shadow. His story spilled in shards. Tenured professor, archaeology, ethnomythology. The kind they snickered at in faculty lounges. But the hill had teeth in its stories, missing livestock, green flashes at solstice, surveyors who forgot their own names. I followed the teeth. They paused beside racks of flexible metal scrolls. He unrolled one, star fields blossomed in holographic relief, constellations Sarah had never seen in any planetarium. The wardens weren't us, he said. Custodians. They vacuumed up knowledge the way bees take pollen, artifacts, genomes, equations, from places the maps don't name. When their tour ended, they gift-wrapped the collection and buried it under a Vermont hillside. Hope in a box, they called it. Why us? Sarah asked. Same reason we plant trees we'll never sit under. Faith that someone later might be ready. He glanced at Lily. You woke the key, didn't you, Sprout? It got warm, she said, chin high. Child locks, Percival said fondly. Mine still elastic. The wardens trusted wonder over credentials. They entered a gallery of crystal tubes, floor to invisible ceiling. Inside floated impossible things, sculptures that folded through 4 dimensions, canvases where pigment swam like fish, instruments whose strings were light. Cultural wing, he murmured. 1,000 worlds, give or take. I quit counting when the numbers started tasting like colors. Sarah's pulse hammered. This was the Rosetta Stone, the Library of Alexandria, and the Manhattan Project in one damp hill. We have to tell people, she said. Scientists, museums. Percival's laugh scraped. Year 1, I drafted press releases in my head. Year 2, I watched what governments do to miracles. They'd seed patents before breakfast, warheads by lunch. The wardens didn't hide this for quarterly reports. Lily had drifted to a waist-high plinth. Inside the crystal, a single seed, no larger than an acorn, glowing soft gold. A plaque in shifting glyphs hovered beside it. What's this one? She asked, nose almost touching the tube. Mom, it's singing, Lily said, pressing closer to the crystal tube. Inside floated a circlet, no, a constellation of silver filaments, each ring orbiting a captive storm of violet-white sparks. It looked like a crown designed by lightning. The diadem of confluence, Percival murmured. I wore it once. 3 days later I woke up speaking in prime numbers. It maps every possible now. They drifted through wonders that rewrote the possible. A scriptorium where books grew new pages overnight, inked with discoveries made on planets Sarah couldn't pronounce. A grove of glass trees whose fruit were spheres of solid light, bite one and you tasted sunrise on another world. A shallow basin of mercury-smooth liquid that showed not your reflection but every you might have become, doctor, astronaut, hermit, tyrant. Percival's voice cracked with old lecture hall fire. The equations are the cruelest. They prove love is a tensor, grief a waveform. Once you read the source code, the game feels rigged. Lily skipped where Sarah staggered. To her this was Narnia with better Wi-Fi. At last they reached a vault door bristling with locks, 7, each a different geometry. Percival produced keys from pockets that should have been empty decades ago. I stayed for this asterisk, he said, and opened it. Inside, orderly chaos of wealth. Not dollars. Bars of gold with atomic signatures Earth had never forged. Gems that drank light and gave it back in slow heartbeats. Ingots of metals that flexed like muscle. A single coin-sized disc that hummed and showed tomorrow's stock ticker, 42 years early. Spare change, Percival said. Asterisk, the wardens traded in ideas, this was pocket lint. Sarah's knees buckled. She had $19 in her checking account and a stack of overdue notices taped inside a cereal box. Here was enough to buy continents. Lily cradled a ruby the size of a plum. It painted the vault red. We're rich, she whispered. Richer than the concept allows, Percival said. Which is its own trap. I tried fencing one coin in '83. Dealer dialed the bureau before I reached the door. World's not ready for impossible money. Sarah's mind spun triage. 1 bar, melted down, sold through 3 shell companies, Emma's tuition, a reliable car, a house with heat that worked. 2 bars, medical debt erased, college funds, maybe a food truck so she never waitressed again. Take what sustains you, Percival said, reading her like an open book. The wardens measured worth in flourishing, not hoarding. Just be clever. The surface world bites. Sarah lifted a single thumb-sized ingot, warm, featherlight, humming like a tuning fork. Enough to change everything without explaining anything. Lily tucked the ruby into her pocket like contraband candy. For emergencies, she declared. Percival closed the vault. Balance, he said. That's the lock the key opened. Use it wrong and the hill seals itself forever. Above them, somewhere under a quiet Oregon night, the burrow waited, $1.50 on paper, priceless in practice. They filled Lily's backpack with palm-sized wonders, a coin that felt warm like skin, a sapphire that flickered with internal galaxies, an opal that whispered when turned. Museum theft asterisk, Sarah's conscience hissed. Custodial transfer, Percival corrected. The archive voted. You're in. The lights dimmed and brightened with their exhales, the walls thrummed in 4/4 time with their pulses. The hill had adopted them. At the stairwell, Lily turned. Come up, Mr. Percival. We have pancakes. His laugh cracked like old ice. Sunlight would flay me, sprout. Silence up there would finish the job. Down here the choir never sleeps. He pressed a thumb-sized crystal into Sarah's hand. Talk through this. I forget verbs otherwise. They climbed into rose-gold dawn. The burrow's round windows looked ordinary again, until you knew what sang beneath the floorboards. Breakfast was quiet. Lily left for the bus with a ruby in her sock for luck. Sarah laid 3 stones on the table. Sapphire, starlight trapped in blue. Emerald, slow heartbeat. Diamond, rainbows at impossible angles. 200 million, street value for terrestrial cousins. These were priceless, but she'd launder them as heirlooms, estate sales, private buyers who asked no questions. Enough to buy security without buying attention. Percival had chosen exile over billions. The wardens had walked away from galaxies. Lily accepted miracles like bedtime stories. Sarah was no longer the woman who counted quarters for milk. She was custodian. The word settled in her bones like ballast. She installed a floor safe behind the stove that afternoon. Tomorrow, Boston, first anonymous sale, seed money for the life Lily deserved, college, doctors, a food truck empire if she wanted. Tonight she sat in the round room, archive humming lullabies through basalt and clay, and felt the shape of purpose. Below, Percival walked the aisles again, no longer alone. Deeper still, behind seals he'd welded with shaking hands, the heart waited, questions sharp enough to cut souls, answers heavy enough to capsize civilizations. Someday. When Lily was taller. When humanity learned to share smaller miracles without weaponizing them. For now, a $150 cottage, a backpack of starlight, and a single mom turned guardian of the improbable. Sarah smiled, locked the safe, and let the hill sing her to sleep. The emerald sale felt like crossing a border without a passport. 11,000 in 20s weighed down her purse like contraband. She bought Emma a real winter coat, bright purple, no duct tape patches, paid the mechanic in crisp bills, and still had enough left to fill the pantry with name-brand cereal. But every red light felt like a checkpoint. Every rearview mirror carried eyes. Theodore took the coffee like communion. The archive felt the stone leave, he said, steam curling around his beard. It's not upset. Just noting the transaction. He looked almost human in that moment, hunched over the mug like any old man on a park bench. Sarah sat cross-legged on the alien floor. I keep picturing hospitals with no waiting lists. Scholarships. Clean water for entire towns. I pictured the same, he said. Then I pictured the first drone strike on this hill. Small steps, then. Quiet ripples, not tidal waves. While Lily conjugated verbs at Pinecrest Primary, Sarah mapped deeper strata. Level 4 of a hangar of vehicles that folded space like origami. One craft, a Mercury teardrop, hovered an inch above the floor, waiting for a pilot who would never come. Another hurt to perceive, its edges slipped sideways into dimensions her brain refused to render. Level 5 is memory crystals. Touch 1 and history poured in like warm syrup. She saw the wardens. A methane-breathing lattice of crystal vines. A swarm of golden motes that argued in prime numbers. A single being the size of a city block, gentle as fog. They had watched Earth from the moon's far side, silent gardeners pruning extinction events. They left when the dominant species began measuring progress in warheads. Sarah pulled her hand away, dizzy with borrowed memory. The archive didn't store knowledge. It remembered for species too busy forgetting. She surfaced at 2:47 p.m., just as the bus brakes sighed. Lily bounded off, cheeks pink from recess. "Mom, guess what? We're studying geology and I *no* things." That night they ate spaghetti with real parmesan. Sarah grated it over both plates, listening to the hill breathe beneath the floorboards. Tomorrow, another stone, another anonymous buyer, another brick in the quiet life they were building. The heart of the sanctuary stayed sealed. Some doors waited for wiser hands. For now, a Hobbit house, a purple coat, and the soft certainty that they were exactly where the universe needed them to be. The Warden's Chronicle played in Sarah's mind like a film reel from another star. Rescue ops on a gas giant's rings, pulling fractal sculptures from tidal doom. A library planet, half drowned, its scrolls vacuumed into crystal vaults. Earth, 973 CE, Vikings raiding, caliphs charting stars, a species teetering between dark ages and dawn. They'd chosen wait and see. Buried the archive under Oregon basalt, then ghosted to the next crisis. 1,052 years of patient vigil. Sarah yanked her hand from the crystal, head spinning. The bus horn honk ed. She burst topside, breathless. Lily was already at the turquoise door, backpack in the dirt. "Mom. Local history project, I told class about the wizard house, and Miss Harper didn't believe me. Can she visit?" Sarah's stomach dropped. Spotlights. Footprints. Questions. Photos instead. Lily's face crumpled. Sarah remembered the thrift store jeans, the lunchroom whispers. Fine. Upstairs only. Miss Harper arrived Saturday, early 30s, ponytail swinging, eyes wide as a kid's. "This is magical," she breathed, snapping pics of root ceilings and round arches. Percival Thornwood, total visionary. Local legend. For levels down, Sarah thought, his mapping neutron stars. "Call me Elena," the teacher said over herbal tea. Lily chattered project ideas, Sarah scanned for red flags. None. The county archive would to catalog this. Pure Oregon oddity. "We're private folk," Sarah said. Elena left her card with a wink. Lily danced. "My report's all house. With diagrams." But Sarah's mind raced. One visitor. One article. Then tours? Plus the cash trail, $150 house, single mom, suddenly solvent. Time to vanish the paper trail. That week, road trip sales. Salem pawn shop, opal, $8,500 as family heirloom. Eugene dealer, sapphire, $14,000. Across to Vancouver, WA, diamond shard, $22,000. Account splintered, for banks, deposits under $10,000. Balances climbed, $50,000, $120,000, $280,000. Unreal numbers. Debts died first. Lily's NICU bills, paid. Maxed visa from the '09 crash, gone. Shark loan on the old lease, shredded. Upgrades followed, low-key. Solar array, off-grid life. UV water purifier. Used Highlander, reliable, anonymous. Lily's haul, rain boots, no holes, sketch pads, iPad mini for homework. Whispers started anyway. Grocery bagger, nice ride. Elena, love the new outfits, Lily. Postman, Amazon's got you covered, her. Inheritance, Sarah smiled. Great aunt in Seattle, no kids. Percival vetted it via crystal that night, voice faint as radio static. My third cousin twice removed, Eudora Voss, died 21, 0 heirs. Forged probates a breeze, scan, sign, notarize. Folks swallow tidy tales. Truth seeps, asterisk asterisk Sarah said. Then damn it smart. Small leaks, not floods. The archive song rose through the flagstones as Lily sketched her project poster. Sarah tallied tomorrow's sales route, Highlander keys in hand. 1,000-year gift, maturing in quiet Oregon soil. Guardians don't shout. The dream sharpened. Lily woke gasping about choirs of stone and walls that blinked. The resonance key on the shelf pulsed like a second heartbeat, even at noon. Spoons rearranged themselves into perfect circles. Lanterns dimmed and flared in Morse. The archive is courting her, Percival said when Sarah dragged Lily below, hoping the old man's voice would anchor the child. Lily hid behind Sarah's leg, eyes huge. She's 7, Sarah snapped. The wardens counted in curiosity, not candles. Percival crouched, beard brushing flagstones. Dreams are classrooms, Sprout. The hill wants to teach you how to listen. That night the nightmares flipped. Lily woke laughing about cities built from music and numbers that pirouette. She filled sketchbooks with impossible architecture, towers that looped through themselves, bridges of light, beings with wings of probability. Sarah found the council by accident, chasing urgent voices past unopened wings. 5 robed silhouettes, faces star-static, speaking in overlapping urgency. The heart holds cure and contagion. Weapon and wonder. Your youngling glows with readiness. Guard the key. Guide the key-bearer. The inheritance is heavy. They dissolved into motes. Percival was waiting, stacking gems by refractive index. Ghost voicemail, he said. Looping since 973. I've argued with them for 30 years. They still vote no on humanity. Then why leave the vault at all? Because someone has to grow up better than us. He tapped Lily's latest drawing, a spiral galaxy wearing a child's smile. She's the curriculum now. Sarah tried normal. PTA cookies, dentist appointments, permission slips. Cash laundered through 3 more great-aunt deposits. A college fund labeled L. Harper, future architect. But normal cracked. Lily spoke in prime numbers when excited. The Highlander's GPS rerouted itself to optimal star alignments. Elena Harper asked why Lily's history diorama included accurate depictions of alien alphabets. Sarah built firewalls. Homeschool co-op, gifted track. Solar flare excuses for power flickers. A second safe for the resonance key, lined with lead and guilt. Every Thursday night she descended with groceries and questions. Percival taught Lily safe glyphs, ones that opened lights, not realities. Sarah studied warden ethics until her eyes crossed. One spring evening Lily looked up from a sketch of a bridge between heartbeats and asked, "When do we open the big door, Mom?" Sarah's answer was automatic, "When you can close it again." The archive hummed approval through the floorboards. Outside, the Oregon dusk looked ordinary. Inside, a 7-year-old practiced responsibility in a language older than mountains, and her mother learned to parent a miracle one careful secret at a time. The resonance key flared like a newborn star. A low chord rolled through the floorboards, rattling teacups. The agents froze, hands halfway to holsters. "Mom, it's scared," Lily said, voice small but steady. The key's light strobed in frantic pulses, red, violet, white, projecting glyphs across the curved walls. Agent Chen's eyes tracked the symbols like a sniper tracking movement. Federal custody, she snapped. That device, now. Sarah stepped between her daughter and the guns. It's a family heirloom, she lied, voice calm, heart jackhammering. Looks classified to me, Chen said. Step aside, Ms. Monroe. The key answered for itself. A single tone, pure, impossible, rose from the floor. The round green door slammed shut on its own, brass hinges screaming. The windows frosted over in fractal patterns. Every light in the burrow died except the key's glow. Chen's radio crackled static. Her partners drew, then froze. The flagstones beneath their feet rippled like water. A voice, not Percival's, not human, spoke from everywhere and nowhere, in perfect English laced with harmonics. Custodians recognized. Intruders unregistered. Protocol, contain and educate. The floor split. Not violently, politely. A perfect circle of flagstones sank 6 inches, forming a shallow dais. From it rose a pedestal of the same pale alloy as the archive walls. On it, a second resonance key, identical, dormant. Lily's key dimmed to a heartbeat. The new one woke, sinking. Chen lunged. The dais vanished, stones knitting back into seamless floor. The agent stumbled, off balance. The original key floated from Lily's hands, hovering at child eye level. Mom. Lily whispered. It's okay, baby. They just want to talk. Chen's gun cleared leather. Before she could aim, the key projected a single glyph between them, a circle bisected by a diagonal line. Universal symbol, NO. The temperature plummeted. Frost spiderwebbed across the agent's shoes. Their breath plumed white. From the stairwell, Percival's voice drifted up, calm as bedtime stories. You're in the foyer of something older than your government, agent. Lower the weapons. The archive is interviewing you now. Chen hesitated, 1 heartbeat, 2, then holstered. Her partners followed. The key lowered into Lily's waiting palms. The frost retreated. The door creaked open on its own, revealing dusk and the SUVs idling like confused beetles. We'll be in touch, Chen said, voice tight. Count on it, Sarah replied. They left without another word. Tires spat gravel. Silence rushed back in. Lily looked up, eyes shining. The hill protected us. Sarah knelt, arms around her daughter, feeling the key's warmth through both their shirts. It protected you, she corrected. We're just the chaperones. Below, Percival's laugh echoed up the stairs. Dry, delighted, and just a little bit wicked. Chen's phone was already halfway to her ear. Rachel stepped between her and the stairwell. One call and the hill seals itself for another 1,000 years. The agent's thumb hovered. You're threatening a federal officer. I'm warning one, Rachel said. The archive isn't a vault. It's a sentience. It just interviewed you. You failed the vibe check. Theodore leaned against a glowing panel like a museum descent. Protocol 7, Containment of Premature Disclosure. The wardens wrote it after the Library of Alexandria Phi sale. Same principle, better a secret berry than a species weaponized. Chen's eyes flicked to Lily, who still cradled the resonance key like a frightened bird. That child is holding tech we can't reverse engineer in a century. And she's 7, Rachel said. Imagine what happens when the first drones strike targets a kindergartner. Silence stretched, thick as the archive's air. Agent Chen lowered the phone. Hypothetically, she said, voice tight, what would the thinking and planning look like? Theodore's grin was all teeth. 3-day tour. No comms. You leave your service weapons, your badges, and your preconceptions at the door. You listen. Then we negotiate terms. Chen glanced at her team, two men pale as paper, one whispering that this violates about 12 statutes under his breath. She exhaled through her teeth. 48 hours. I call it a training exercise. After that, I have to report. Rachel extended her hand. 48 hours. You see everything. You ask anything. But you decide with us, not for us. Chen stared at the offered hand, then at the impossible chamber stretching into starlit dark. She holstered her weapon and shook. Deal. But if this is a cult, I'm arresting everyone. Theodore chuckled. Fair. First stop, the cultural wing. Try not to cry at the music, it's in 12 dimensions. As they moved deeper, the archive song shifted, curious, almost playful. The Hill had accepted new students. Whether they graduated or triggered lockdown was now a 48-hour final exam. Sarah squeezed Lily's shoulder. Ready to teach the grown-ups, kiddo? Lily's answer was a solemn nod and a whisper only Sarah heard. I'll show them the nice parts first. Chen stared at the turquoise door as if it might bite. Dead end, she repeated. I tell the Bureau a single mom's fairy tale house is just that. My team signs NDAs thicker than the tax code. And we lie to people who can ruin lives with a keystroke. Better ruined careers than ruined planets, Theodore said mildly. Chen's laugh was hollow. You're asking us to commit career suicide. No, Rachel said. We're offering you purpose. Same choice the archive gave us. Agent Morales, young, still pale, spoke for the first time. My sister's chemo costs 30 grand a round. I just saw a cure downstairs. You're saying I walk away and pretend? Lily stepped forward, resonance key dim but steady. We don't walk away. We walk slow. First we fix your sister. Quietly. One life at a time until the world learns to share. Chen looked at the child, then at the Hill that had just interviewed her with light and gravity. She exhaled a lifetime of protocol. 48 hours, she said. I draft the dead-end report. My team takes leave, stress debrief. We reconvene here. No badges, no wires. We build the real protocol from scratch. Theodore clapped once, delighted. Welcome to the conspiracy, Agent. First rule, the conspiracy doesn't exist. Chen's smile was thin but real. Second rule, nobody touches the heart vault until we can spell wisdom in 12 alien languages. They shook on it in the doorway, single mom, mad hermit, 7-year-old oracle, and for shell-shocked feds. The Hill song settled into a lullaby, patient as stone. Sarah locked the door behind them. Dinner spaghetti, she told Lily. Tomorrow we start saving the world one plate at a time. Lily grinned, key warm against her chest. Can we add meatballs? Saving the world is hungry work. The town hall smelled of old coffee and folding chairs. 40 locals, 3 reporters, 1 county commissioner who loved cameras. Rachel sat in the back row, Emma's hand in hers, resonance key tucked in a lead-lined pouch at her hip. Commissioner Hargrove cleared his throat. Ms. Monroe's inheritance has funded a free clinic, school laptops, and half the Little League uniforms. We're grateful. But the estate of one Eudora Voss was probate closed at $9,400. Numbers don't add up. Murmurs. Phones raised. Rachel stood. Great-aunt Eudora invested in rare gems decades ago. I liquidated a few. Paperwork's with my accountant. Half true, the accountant was Chen, working out of a windowless DOJ annex. A reporter piped up, gems worth millions? From a retired librarian. Emma squeezed her hand. Tell them the Stones want to help, she whispered. Rachel smiled the calm smile she'd practiced in the mirror. Some gifts are meant to be shared. I'm just the middleman. Hargrove wasn't done. State wants an audit. IRS too. We can't have. Chen entered through the side door, badge hidden, voice carrying FBI steel without the acronym. Audits complete. Federal level. Clean. Case closed. She dropped a manila folder thick with official stamps. Ms. Monroe's charitable impact is a model meeting adjourned. The room deflated like a punctured balloon. Cameras lowered. Hargrove sputtered. Chen didn't blink. Outside, under the sodium streetlight, she handed Rachel a new burner phone. Your water purifier kid just saved the Salton Sea. Patent filed under a blind trust. First prototype ships to Gaza next month. Rachel's knees went weak. Emma drew it yesterday. Archives on a deadline, Chen said. It's done waiting for us to catch up. Emma tugged her sleeve. Mom, the stones say the next gift is food. Something about algae and sunlight. Rachel looked at the warehouse lights glowing across the street. Her clinic, her daughter's sketches, a 7-year-old's homework, saving the world one careful secret at a time. Then we'd better get you a bigger notebook, she said. Meredith Cox's pen hovered like a scalpel. Off the record, she said, what's really under that hill? Rachel kept her voice low, Vermont night quiet. Off the record? The kind of truth that ends careers, starts wars, and makes your Pulitzer look like a grocery list. Cox's eyes narrowed. Threats. Physics, Rachel said. Some doors opened both ways. Behind them, Theodore leaned against the community center brick, wild hair silver in the streetlight. Miss Cox, I taught at Dartmouth before you were born. Ever wonder why I vanished? Curiosity killed the cat. Satisfaction buried it. Cox glanced at Emma, who stood between them clutching her sketchbook like a shield. Kids' drawings look like NASA schematics. That normal for second grade? Emma opened the book to a page, a water purifier blueprint now powering desalination pilots in 3 countries. The stones help with homework, she said solemnly. Cox's pen froze. Chen appeared from the shadows, no badge, just authority. Meredith Cox, right? Vermont Investigator Circulation 42K. You run this story, your next byline's missing reporter. Choose. Cox swallowed. I could go quiet for a bigger piece later. Later's a myth, Rachel said. Tonight you decide, grateful community or global incident. The reporter looked at the warehouse lights across the street, free clinic, humming with alien tech disguised as philanthropy. She closed her notebook. I'll write the eccentric hermit version. For now. She walked away, heels clicking like a countdown. Theodore exhaled. One crisis, one miracle at a time. Emma tugged Rachel's sleeve. Mom, the stones say the reporter's almost ready. We just need one more gift. Rachel ruffled her hair. Then let's pick a small one. World's not ready for the big ones yet. Under the Vermont stars, the Hobbit house waited, $100 on paper, priceless in practice, humming its patient, 1,000-year song. The council chamber, once a quiet circle of folding chairs, felt suddenly too small. Emma stood at the center, resonance key pulsing like a second heart. The wardens didn't leave, she said, voice layered with harmonics no 7-year-old throat should produce. They paused. A test. Pass or be archived. Chen's tablet showed the latest satellite pass, a perfect circle of gravitational lensing centered on the Hobbit house, visible only in infrared. NORAD thinks it's a stealth weapon, she said. They're drafting strike packages. Colonel Rivers went the color of old paper. We have days, not years. Dr. Webb slammed a fist on the table. Then we use the days. Roll out the diagnostic chambers under the experimental FDA trial. Cancer remission rates will speak louder than press releases. The Harvard philosopher, Dr. Singh, leaned forward. Frame it as discovery, not revelation. Lost civilization cache. Amid the starfaring custodians. Let wonder do the heavy lifting. Theodore's laugh was dry leaves. Humanity's first contact with truth, and we're workshopping the press kit. Rachel stood beside her daughter. We don't hide. We curate. 3 moves, simultaneous. 1. Medical rollout, 5 clinics, Northeast only. Web runs point. 2. Education drip, Emma's water purifier patents under Prodigy inventor recover. MIT fellowship for a 7-year-old sells itself. 3. Controlled leak, Meredith Cox gets the Hermit's treasure story, but with 1 verified keeper artifact. Enough to spark or not panic. Chen nodded slowly. I can sell a national security advisory to the Pentagon. Buy us 90 days. Emma's key flared approval. The stones say start with water. People trust clean water. Rachel knelt, eye level with her daughter. You ready to be the face of wonder, kiddo? Emma's grin was pure sunrise. Only if we get to keep the Hobbit house. Theodore raised an imaginary glass. To the shortest childhood in history and the longest future. Outside, snow began to fall on the Vermont hill. Inside, the archive song rose, an orchestra warming up for humanity's final exam. By 2032, the world knew Emma Harper as the prodigy who'd solved the global water crisis at 12. Her face, freckles, gap-toothed grin, grace time, nature, and a UN postage stamp. Behind the scenes, she still asked for peanut butter sandwiches cut into stars. The Emily's House network now numbered 312 clinics, every continent. Official story, philanthropic Wunderkind plus anonymous donors. Unofficial, 3-keeper diagnostic Podspa site, hidden behind false MRI panels. Dr. Rachel Monroe, Ph.D., honorary, MIT, chaired the Global Resilience Initiative. TED stages, G20 side rooms, Davos panels. She spoke in measured cadences about leapfrog technologies and ethical acceleration, never once saying alien. The archive fed her talking points in real time via a contact lens had only she and Emma could see. Theodore, now visiting scholar-in-residence at the Hobbit house, had shaved the beard but not the wild eyes. He taught graduate seminars on pre-Sumerian substrates that were 40% Warden glyphs, 60% plausible deniability. Meredith Cox's podcast hit 1 million downloads. Title: The Vermont Anomaly, 5 years later. Chen's team kept her at almost proof, grainy drone footage, redacted patents, 1 verified pre-Columbian alloy that must be a hoax. Cox raged. The world shrugged, another conspiracy. But the archive grew restless. New wings unfolded nightly. A cartography hall mapping 4,000 inhabited worlds. A diplomacy suite rehearsing first contact protocols in 117 languages. A nursery of crystalline seeds that would terraform Mars in a weekend, if anyone asked. Emma, 14 now, spent weekends there in zero-G meditation spheres, downloading etiquette for species that breathed methane and thought in prime numbers. One spring night, the heart vault unsealed itself. No drama, just a soft click echoing up 30 levels. Theodore found the door ajar, light spilling out like warm honey. Inside, a single pedestal. On it, a seed of pure information, no larger than a plum, pulsing with the archive's heartbeat. Emma arrived barefoot, hair still damp from the surface world shower. It's time, she said. Time for what? Rachel asked, suddenly afraid of the answer. Contact. The seed unfolded into a hologram. A warden, not the gentle custodians of memory, but an arbiter. Genderless, Timeless, voice like wind through redwoods. Trial period concludes. Species Earth exhibits 61% reduction in preventable mortality. 43% increase in cooperative resource distribution. 0% weaponization of gifted technologies. Readiness quotient, 79%. Threshold achieved. The arbiter turned to Emma. Heir designate, state your petition. Emma stepped forward. No fear, only gravity. We petition for guided ascension. Not dominion. Partnership? Let us join the chorus, not conquer it. A pause that lasted 1,000 years and 1 heartbeat. Petition granted. Gateway opens at the next equinox. Prepare your delegation. The hologram folded back into the seed. The vault sealed with a sigh. Rachel found her voice. Delegation. Emma's smile was sunrise after a long war. You, me, Theodore, Chen, Dr. Webb, Colonel Rivers, and Meredith Cox, she's earned her seat at the table. Theodore laughed until he cried. From $100 Hobbit house to Galactic Embassy. I love my retirement. Rachel pulled her daughter close. Still want peanut butter stars? Always, Mom. Some things are universal. Above them, the archive sang a new note. Not a lullaby, but an invitation. At 13, she keynoted the UN Youth Climate Summit, laying out fusion catalysis and atmospheric scrubbers that had world leaders scrambling for notepads. Nobody blinked. A teen genius? Plausible. A child channeling millennial alien pedagogy? Career-ending delusion. The night the stars answered came precisely 3 years after Chen's SUVs crunched up the gravel. Rachel woke to the burrow ablaze, not fire, but that liquid warden light seeping from every crack, every root. Lily stood in the main chamber, resonance key orbiting her head like a halo on steroids. They're here, she said, voice doubled with overtones. The hill breathed. Outside, the sky warped, constellations folding into Mobius strips. Percival surfaced, Chen's strike team on his heels. They'd been tracking a 400% spike in quantum foam. The heart unsealed itself, he whispered. They plunged as one. Passages yawned wider, walls now translucent with embedded star fields. The final door hung open like an exhaled breath. The chamber beyond was wrong, infinite regress in a 20 by 20 room, fractal architecture that looped your eye into nausea. At its core, a nexus of braided light, pulsing like a brain. Beside it stood 3 assessors. 9 feet tall, forms oscillating between quartz statue and oil-slick mirage. Faces almost human, cheekbones too high, I spaced a millimeter too far, smiles that revealed too many teeth. Their voices wove into the archive's baseline hum. Inheritors. Acceleration exceeds projections. The probationary epoch concludes. Lily stepped forward, key blazing. You're not wardens. We are auditors. Warden seed. We harvest. Rachel swallowed. Harvest what? Readiness. Communion or quarantine. Integration or isolation. Your cycle ends now. Chen, ever tactical, what's the pass-fail? The central auditor's form flickered. Regret? You. Your stewardship. The measure of the gift. Lily didn't hesitate. Then grade this. We were starving when we found you. Mom bought this house with couch change. Instead of billions for ourselves, we built hospitals. Fixed water. Taught kids. Judge that. The auditors stilled. Demonstrate. What followed inverted every sci-fi trope. No human gawking at saucers. The auditors toured Earth via archive sims so crisp they smelled of rain and diesel. Emily's house clinics, 87% drop in global child mortality. Lily's Cascade Purifiers, 2.1 billion new gallons of fresh water daily. Harper Scholarships, 14,000 prodigies who were really archive adepts. But the pivot came at a Burlington soup kitchen. No fanfare, no holograms. Just Maria Rodriguez, 62, spooning potato leek to a shivering vet. First hot meal in 3 weeks, she said, no idea she was on trial for her species. The central auditor knelt, impossible grace in 9 feet of liquid geometry. This. Not the reactors. Not the gene therapies. This, the unasked reciprocity. You fed without conquest. Lily met its gaze. We're ready. Not perfect. But ready. A pause longer than history. The auditors synchronized, forms dissolving into shared light. Threshold, 94%. Petition for ascendancy granted. The Concord welcomes Earth. The archive sang, every wall, every crystal, every hidden vault joining in crescendo. Outside, the sky bloomed, 1,000 new stars, arranged in welcome. Rachel pulled Lily close. Peanut butter stars? And the galaxy to put them in, her daughter replied. The $150 cottage had become the front door to forever. Emma's fingers brushed the array and the chamber vanished. Not darkness, absence of separation. She was everywhere at once. A methane ocean on Titan like Gliese 12b, where coral mines sang in infrasound. A Dyson lattice around a red dwarf, where silicon poets etched epics into solar flares. A hollowed asteroid arc drifting the Oort, crewed by descendants of Earth whales who'd left during the Miocene. Their archives opened to her like library cards sliding home. A trillion voices, none speaking English, all understood. Rachel felt the echo through the resonance key at her hip. A sudden, vertiginous width of thought. Emma's eyes rolled white, then snapped back, pupils blown wide with starlight. Mom, she whispered, voice layered with 1,000 accents, they're waiting for us to say hello. The central assessor inclined its head. The network is bidirectional. Speak, and the Concord listens. Ask, and the Concord answers. But every question is a test. Meredith Cox, still reeling, mascara streaking, found her voice. So we just call them. Emma grinned, the old gap-toothed grin now framed by cosmic certainty. Watch. She placed both palms on the array. The chamber filled with light that had texture, velvet photons, silk gravity. A single glyph bloomed in midair, rotating slowly. Translation streamed into every mind present, bypassing ears. Earth Archive 001, Harper Monroe lineage, requests formal introduction. We bring compassion, curiosity, and peanut butter sandwiches. We seek partnership, not dominion. Ready to learn. A pause. Then the glyph shattered into a constellation. 17 new stars flaring in Earth's night sky, visible from every continent. A reply, in perfect, impossible English, spoken by the wind itself. Welcome, little siblings. The table is set. Come hungry. The array dimmed to a gentle hearth-glow. The assessors dissolved into motes that drifted upward, becoming part of the chamber's living light. Theodore laughed until he wheezed. From $100 real estate to galactic potluck. I love my retirement. Chen holstered a phone she'd never actually drawn. I'm gonna need a bigger NA. Cox wiped her face, already composing headlines in her head. Local mom, daughter invite universe to dinner. Too clickbaity. Rachel knelt, pulling Emma into a fierce hug. Still want stars in your sandwich? Emma's answer was muffled against her shoulder, but the archive translated it into 4,000 languages. Extra crunchy. The Concord likes texture. Outside, the Vermont sky held 17 new stars. A breadcrumb trail to everywhere. The Hobbit house, $150 on the county rolls, had just become Earth's front porch. 2037, Bramblewood Foundation Gala, Burlington Waterfront. The string quartet played a piece Emma had transcribed from a methane-breathing orchestra on Gleis 1214B. It sounded like Vivaldi after 3 glasses of champagne. Guests in tuxedos and sustainable silk assumed it was AI composed. Nobody noticed the cello's lowest note was infrasound, calming heart rates across the room. Rachel, silver threading her hair now, worked the crowd with practiced ease. Phase 2 rollouts in Lagos and Dhaka next quarter, she told a UN undersecretary. Adaptive algae yields 400% over baseline. Patent-free. The undersecretary scribbled furiously. Across the terrace, Emma, 15, still partial to star-shaped sandwiches, held court with 3 Nobel laureates. The Cascade purifier's next iteration uses quantum coherence in water molecules, she said, sketching on a napkin. One laureate blinked. That's theoretically impossible. Emma smiled. Theory just got a software update. Theodore, beard-trimmed, blazer over flannel, leaned against the railing, watching Lake Champlain reflect the 17 new stars. We're not hiding anymore, he murmured to Chen. We're seasoning. Chen, now director of Anomalous Phenomena Liaison, a title that existed on no org chart, nodded. Pentagon's calling the stars natural gravitational lensing. Public's eating it up. Cox, Pulitzer on her shelf, byline now special correspondent, Bramblewood Institute, snapped a photo of Emma mid-explanation. Kid's gonna need a bigger napkin. Later, under the grass roof, the inner circle gathered around the original $150 deed, framed, hung above the hearth like a holy relic. Emma raised a glass of sparkling cider. To the Hobbit house that bought us the universe. Rachel clinked her mug, peanut butter residue still on the rim. And to the universe that hasn't killed us yet. Theodore's eyes twinkled. Give it time. We're still in beta. Outside, the 17 stars pulsed once. A cosmic wink. Inside, the archive hummed its patient, 1,000-year lullaby. Now joined by the soft clink of glasses. And the sound of humanity. Learning to say hello. Chen's question lingered in the air, sharp as the Vermont frost. Normalizing miracles, good or bad? Emma's answer was quick, her voice carrying the weight of a galaxy's worth of borrowed wisdom. Both. It lets us embrace the impossible without breaking. But it risks turning wonder into wallpaper. Rachel watched her daughter, still her baby, despite eyes that had seen the scaffolding of stars. Pride and worry tangled in her chest. Emma's childhood was a casualty of the archive, traded for a cosmic syllabus. But what was normal when your home hummed with alien lullabies? The assessors will come back, asterisk asterisk, Emma continued, hands tracing the resonance key's warm edges. Asterisk asterisk, not soon, but inevitable. They'll want more than clinics and purifiers. They'll want us, united, wise, ready to sit at the grown-ups table without starting a food fight. Cox snorted. No pressure, kid. Rachel's smile was steel. From a $150 deed to galactic diplomats. We've handled worse. At the midnight, Hobbit house. The guests were gone, their laughter still echoing in the round room. Rachel and Emma stood in the heart vault, the communication array alive with whispers from distant archives. A binary star system sharing fusion blueprints to halt their ice age. A gas giant collective offering empathy algorithms that cooled wars. A lone pulsar broadcasting poetry that doubled as quantum encryption. Regret it? Rachel asked, voice soft as the array's glow. The key, the archive, all of it. Emma's pause was a lifetime compressed in 2 seconds. I wonder sometimes, normal stuff. Prom dates, TikTok trends, failing algebra on purpose. She grinned, gap tooth gone but mischief eternal. But then I see Maria at the soup kitchen, or the kids drinking clean water in Accra. This is us, Mom. The Stones chose right. Rachel pulled her close, breathing in the scent of shampoo and starlight. I'm proud of you. Not for the smarts or the tech. For choosing giving over taking. Learned it from you, Emma murmured. You turned couch change into a cosmic down payment. Dawn, archive threshold. As they climbed the basalt stairs, Emma froze. The resonance key flared, projecting a single glyph, a date, etched in light. The 23rd of September, 2040. Something's coming, she said, eyes distant. Big. Good or bad depends on us. Rachel touched the green door, its $150 legacy heavier than gold. Then we keep building, clinics, schools, bridges. One choice at a time. Emma's smile was a supernova in miniature. And peanut butter stars. The Concord's gonna love those. The archive song followed them up, weaving through the roots of the Hobbit house. Outside, 17 new stars held vigil in the Vermont sky, patient as the hill itself. The world turned, unaware it was auditioning. Emily's house clinics multiplied, 500 now, from Nunavut to Nairobi. Emma's prodigy patents fed deserts, cooled fevers, lit cities. Meredith Cox's columns danced on the edge of truth, seeding wonder without breaking the dam. Theodore's fictional memoir, Under the Hill, won a Hugo. Readers called it visionary. He signed copies with a wink, stay curious. The truth's deeper than you think. Chen ran interference, her DOJ shadow team now 12 strong, redirecting satellites and skeptics alike. And Rachel, once a single mom scraping rent, stood at the helm of the Bramblewood Foundation, whispering to presidents and poets. Think bigger. Think kinder. The stars are watching. The Hobbit house, bought for pocket change, was Earth's first embassy to the infinite. Its guardians, mother, daughter, hermit, and allies, carry the weight of worlds. Emma's final sketch, tacked above the hearth, showed a bridge. Earth to Andromeda, built of light and trust. At its base, a single note in her childish scrawl. We're ready when we choose to be. The archive sang on, certain as stone, endless as stars. Humanity's story, born in a $150 gamble, had just begun to echo across the Concord's vast, waiting table. The end. 2 more stories of impossible choices and cosmic stakes await. Click to keep exploring, and subscribe if you believe small investments rewrite destinies.